Well, hi, Walter. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this 15-minute franchise owner interview. I know our candidates so appreciate hearing about your experience when they're trying to make a decision. Hey, would right at home franchise ownership be a good fit for me and my family?
Thank you so much, Jessica, and thanks for the invitation.
Yes. Would you mind just starting out sharing your name, location, how many territories you have, and when you became a right at home franchise owner?
Beautiful. So my name is Walter Ochoa. I'm located in Brooklyn and Staten Island in New York City. I have currently four territories. I started with one. 4 years later, I got the second one, and just less than a year ago, I got two more. Very excited. And I've been an owner since 2011, so it's gonna be almost 12 years now.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Before, 12 years ago, when you became a right at home franchise owner, what was your background?
Well, it's interesting, you think you're gonna do something in life and then some other
Yep.
opportunities just pop up. My background cannot be more odd. I'm an electronic engineer
Okay. Well,
with a master's in telecommunication systems. My passion is technology, my passion is electronics. When I moved back to New York, after I got married with my wife, Jean, I actually came to New York, and it was all my intentions to work in the technology side of business. Unfortunately, I came 2 months before 9/11. And being the fact that a lot of things change, uh, I couldn't find anything related to technology or electronics or systems or communications, as a matter of fact. So, like probably a lot of people, professionals in New York City, I ended up working in Wall Street. I worked for many years in, you know, big companies like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. But then after that, my parents, both of them, have been entrepreneurs all their lives, like they say, right? Like the apple doesn't fall too far from the
yeah.
tree. So I have this little itchiness to
Hmm.
become a business owner, and that's when I start exploring my options.
Perfect. So to go from technology to Wall Street to home care, what was the reasoning for that, and why did you end up choosing to go with home care, particularly right at home?
Well, what happened is that I left Goldman Sachs, and I was actually given the opportunity to go to this company, that say, have you ever explored franchising? Now, I knew that franchising has give us a little bit more of an edge of being successful, given the
Hmm.
fact that there's a formula already, and you need to be good on following the formula. And so they say, have you ever considered it? So in my head, is like, well, I like business. There's a formula
Hmm.
here. Let's explore it. So I was given three options actually. One of them was right at home. I completed
Hmm.
what is called the visit to headquarters back in
Hmm.
2010, and the three of them were very impressive franchise systems. But it was something about right at home that really, grabbed my eye and my soul. I met with the founder, Alan Hager, back in the days, and
Hmm.
he explained it so well. And I really want to make the difference in people's lives. And uh, a week later, I signed the contract, the agreement, the franchise agreement with Right at Home.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I love that. Can you tell me a little bit about, 12 years ago when you first got started? What did your day look like then? Because I'm sure it looks completely different, your typical day today. And what does today look like?
100%. 100%. My day, if I would be wearing a hat for everything that I was doing, probably you would say that I belong to the Yankees, the Mets, the Padres, everybody, all the different teams that you can have. And those hats were accountant,
Mhm.
bookkeeper, staffing coordinator, marketing, all these hats. But it makes sense, right? It was just two people. my staffing coordinator and myself doing marketing, but there's so much in between that needs to be done. So at the beginning, it was all about me doing everything that you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine running the business. And it was exhausting. I mean, but nothing comes easy in life, right? I mean, if you really want something, you need to work and sometimes struggle for it. And I learned that the best way to keep growing my business is building a strong team. It's not always
Mm-hmm.
easy to get it. Sometimes it's a trial and error, the people might look great on paper, but when they work for you, you're like, all right, maybe it doesn't work that way. Or the other
Yeah.
way, people
Yep.
might not look that well on paper, but once you start getting to know them in the business, you start saying, you know what, this person has the potential to keep growing in the company. So after coaching, fomenting growth, my team has been growing. And I think that's what I thought from the beginning. Business needs to grow. I need to surround myself with great staff, people who knows what to do in the office even better that I can. And I ended up with a big team. Right now, my head counting on staff team is around 13 people. So my business now, my role in the business now is 180 degrees different. I mean, than what I have when I started. Now I'm working on my business, not in my business. I
Mhm.
always come up with ideas. How can we improve processes? How can I improve procedures? How can pitch in new ideas? Good enough, I have operation managers that grabs all those ideas and hopefully, and that's the idea, not to implement them all, but to say, all right, wait
Yeah.
a second. Out of these 10 ideas, I have three here. I mean, let's implement it. So we implemented, we analyze it, we evaluate it, we measure it, works good, goes, doesn't work, well, good try, and
Mhm.
keep doing it. And I think that's the role of an entrepreneur. Just keep bringing these ideas and keep implementing new ways of doing things so the business can actually improve. Remember, the same car that we have in the T model back in the early 1900s is the same idea, but it cannot be compared to a Bugatti. I mean, Bugatti can
Mhm.
go 200 miles per hour, 300 miles per hour. A car back in the days can go only like 10 miles per hour. So it's the same idea. The difference is the fine tuning. And that's what that as an entrepreneur you need to do. You need to keep fine tuning every piece of the business, like you fine tune every piece of the car, so eventually you can have a faster and better car. So that's big difference between 12 years ago and what I'm doing now.
Fantastic. I love that. And thinking about, all the support that you get at Right at Home, what do you feel like is personally the most valuable?
From day one, understanding what you're going through. Being an entrepreneur, I don't care what type of business you start or a business owner, you're very, very alone. You're very alone on the top, so to speak. And it's very few people you can bounce ideas or share your struggles or share your concerns or share your victories. Um, that's what I feel with Right at Home. They understood exactly where I was when I started. The
Mhm.
support that I have from the whole office staff, my coaches, and my own teammates. I mean, teammates meaning other franchisees. That kind of support, moral support, knowledge support, encouraging support. Um, I think that's what it makes the difference. When
Yep.
you being successful or not in a business. One of the things that it was impressed me the most when 12 years ago I went to this visiting headquarters in Omaha, Nebraska, was the willingness of the staff from Right at Home corporate to help, and
Yep.
I think that was the moment that I said, oh my God, this is a team that is looking for my best interest and is willing to help me. And honestly, it's been like that since then. It's a lot of support. They want you to win because you guys know that if they win, we win,
Mhm.
they win. So it's a win-win situation in everything you do in life. Once you get to that balancing point of saying both of us win, I think that's when everybody should just go ahead and close the deals because that's the nature of the win-win portion.
Yes, absolutely. And, thinking about, when you went through the process 12 years ago and candidates who are going through the process now, what's one piece of advice that you would give somebody when they're trying to decide, hey, is this business right for me?
Right. Do your due diligence.
Hmm.
I know you start talking to let's put it like this way, a broker, somebody to help you, to choose what franchise is the one for you. Ask a lot of questions to that person, understand the business, trying to really have a good idea of what the business is gonna be like when you're talking to your advisor there. But then there is something that is called, validation calls, where you start talking to other franchisees that have been doing it for many years, or they are already doing this, the franchise, or they are doing the business already. So two things: try to talk to people who is in your territory or close to your territory, because sometimes laws and regulations change from one to the other one. So two things: talk to people who is close to you and ask them the questions, how they today looks like, what are your main concerns, what are your main benefits, you
Hmm.
know, understand really well the business, you know, in the people that is around you. But sometimes the people is around your territory, the new territory you want to buy, maybe they are 10 years ahead of you. And their experience is not going to be the same as the experience of somebody who comes new. So also choose another person, another franchisee that maybe is 6 months, a year in the business, and ask the same questions. And then try to choose another franchisee that maybe is 4 years in the business and ask those questions. So once you have this whole aspect of how the business looks close to my territory, how the business looks in early stages, middle stages, big stages, what can I expect in the future? Uh, um, then once you have all that information in your head, just make a decision and think, is this something that I want to do for the next years in the future? I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years and I'm not expecting to go anywhere for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
becoming your life. My son was born well when I started the Right at Home. That's the only thing he knows that I do, So it's a decision that is going to change your life. So ask the right questions to the right people. That would be my advice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And oh my gosh, Walter, it has been just an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. I can see how much passion you have. I know what a huge difference you're making in your communities, what a huge difference you're making to other franchise owners in the system, your employees, as well as even candidates that you talk to going through the process. We truly appreciate all you do because people like you make the world a better place.
Well, yes. I mean, I don't want to say that I make a big difference, but you do. You do
Mhm.
one client at a time, one employee at a time, one
Mhm.
community at a time. I mean, because that's what you do. You see, there is. I'm going to paraphrase a saying. The measure of success of a society is going to be measured how well you take care of the people who needs care, the
Mhm.
elderly, the people with disabilities. So how you treat them is gonna say a lot about the society that you live in. So I think that yeah, it's a trait. You treat well the people that needs the help, then your society, your community is gonna get better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I know this is going to be so valuable to candidates going through the process.
Right? And then if anybody needs to call me, I'm always here to help. That's what I love, talking to people.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Walter. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.